Hey, what's up, everybody? Before we kick off this movie, I just gotta say that this channel needs your support. Seriously, please show some love with a like and a comment because it takes forever for the video to pop up. And that's because we ain't getting enough support. The movie begins with a guy named Dave suddenly gets a call from a US ambassador in Afghanistan named Mike. Mike tells him that some terrorists attacked their base and a lot of their people are trapped there. Even the spy family they sent, the Volter family, got attacked by those guys. Mike really wants to save that spy family, the Volter family, no matter what. Most of the army guys knew about the Volter family because for years, Volter was living as a spy in Pakistan and Afghanistan. He was finding out about secret terror attacks there and telling US officials in time. The biggest reason they had to save them was that Volter's family included his 13-year-old son and a 5-year-old daughter. They had already done so much for the US, and they couldn't just leave any kid to die like that. Meanwhile, in the middle of the woods, Volter is pretty badly hurt, driving a car with his family, trying to escape through the forest. Now, at first, Dave doesn't want to take on this mission because it could cause a huge international fight, but Mike talks him into it by asking him how he'd feel if Dave's family was stuck in this spot. A lot of Taliban guys had also attacked Mike's base, so he immediately calls for help for Volter's family and hangs up the phone, starting to pack his gear and get ready to leave. Dave also immediately calls a big shot agent named John and tells him the whole story, asking him to run a rescue mission for the Volter family. John right away told his best team, the WARHORSE team, to head for the Volter family's last known location. And soon, the WARHORSE team was heading toward the forested areas of Afghanistan, fully geared up. All they knew was that the Volter family was last seen leaving Afghanistan for the Pakistan border in a green car. Now, as soon as the WARHORSE team's chopper gets close to the Afghan woods, a terrorist on a nearby hill suddenly attacks their helicopter with a bazooka. This makes the helicopter lose control and crash into the ground. The crash was so bad that no one had time to jump out of the helicopter except for one soldier, Marco. Marco is the only one who jumps out of the chopper in time and somehow saves his own life. All his other buddies were killed in the explosion when the helicopter hit the ground. Marco was the leader of the WARHORSE team, known as WARHORSE One. At first, his head wasn't working right after the sudden attack, but he slowly gets his head straight and walks toward the wreckage of the destroyed helicopter, thinking. He had some hope that maybe one of his other buddies survived. He waits by the helicopter for a long time for any sign of a response, but unfortunately, he gets nothing. This makes Marco feel really bad because when you're in the army, your teammates become like your family. And since he had no other choice, he somehow fixes his communication device and tries to contact his headquarters, John. Now everyone else also finds out about the sudden attack and the death of all the other soldiers. Marco then asks them to check the helicopter wreckage carefully using satellites so he can find proof that someone is alive. But the truth is, no one else from Marco's team survived. Marco gets really angry when he finds this out, and while he's talking to his guys, he suddenly spots 3 terrorists on a nearby cliff. One of them was the one who fired the bazooka at their helicopter. Seeing them makes Marco super mad. Marco quickly finds cover and takes down 2 of them easily, but the third guy somehow manages to escape. He contacts all his other buddies and calls them over. Then one of Marco's teammates, Castle, sees him on the satellite and tells Marco to be careful because 30 to 40 terrorists are heading his way to kill him. Castle then tells Marco to hide until their backup arrives. But Marco is too angry, so he refuses to follow his order and starts getting ready for a fight. Then their commander, John himself, talks to Marco because he doesn't want to lose a top soldier like Marco right now. He was also pretty upset about the loss of Marco's other soldiers. Marco gets this and decides not to attack the terrorists for now. But by then, the terrorists had arrived and spotted Marco. They try to fire at Marco, so Marco is forced to fire back, killing a few terrorists and running away from there. While running, he hides near a cliff and fires at the terrorists whenever he sees an opening. Then a few more terrorists are killed. But right now, Marco only has a few bullets left, and it's impossible to kill all the terrorists with that many bullets. So to save his life, Marco jumps into the river flowing below the cliff and lets the water carry him away. The terrorists figure no one could survive jumping into that river from that high up, so they think Marco is dead and leave the area. But Marco, fueled by the desire for revenge, survives even this dive. A little while later, he gets out near the forest on the riverbank. Marco immediately starts moving forward carefully. Then he sees a car on the road with some dead people lying near it, and the people inside the car are none other than Volter's family. The terrorist had killed Volter's whole family. Only Volter and his 6-year-old daughter Joey were left alive in his family. Volter is in pretty bad shape too and is about to die soon. But before he dies, he asks Marco to save his daughter Joey's life. Now, Marco actually wanted to save Volter's life too, but since he knows Volter can't be saved now, He takes Joey with him and starts looking for a safe spot in the jungle. Joey is so innocent that she thinks her parents are just sleeping really deeply, but Marco is too scared to tell her the truth right now and decides to head straight for the evacuation point with her. On the other side, a little later, all the terrorists reach Volter's car so they can confirm Volter and his family are really dead. Their leader Radam is with them at the time. Radam is pretty happy to see Volter dead, but then his buddy tells him about Joey being gone. He also found Marco's shoe prints nearby. Radam and the other terrorists kind of figure out that Marco is still alive and Joey is with him. So, Radam immediately tells everyone to find Joey and Marco as fast as they can. But one of his team members is busy taking photos with the dead bodies of the Volter family. Meanwhile, as Joey and Marco are walking forward, Joey kind of figures out that her father is dead. She thinks the people who killed her family are really bad people, because her father taught her since childhood that people who hurt innocent folks are criminals. She tells Marco not to kill those people by being bad like them, but just to catch them. Marco is pretty shocked by Joey's innocent talk, but he explains to Joey that those people are bad and he might have to kill them just to save Joey's life. Joey agrees to this too. Then, as they walk on, Marco sees landmine traps in a lot of places. He disables them pretty easily and keeps going with Joey. He keeps telling Joey to be careful because Radam still has his men following them. Suddenly, Marco spots two of Radam's men standing on a nearby cliff, trying to find them. Marco tells Joey to stay down and quietly climbs up himself. He kills both those terrorists very silently and easily. Meanwhile, Radam has sent his buddies to every path in the jungle so they can catch Marco and Joey no matter what. But Marco and Joey keep moving forward very carefully. Then, while looking through a scope once, Joey recognizes a terrorist who killed her mom, dad, and brother. Marco feels bad for Joey right then, but he comforts Joey and starts moving forward. He climbs a little higher up the cliff, and now he contacts Castle and his headquarters again, asking them to send help right away because the enemies have basically surrounded them. But Castle tells him that they can't send help to Marco's current location. He has to travel a few more kilometers, and only then can Castle and all his other buddies help him. Since he has no other choice for now, Marco agrees to this too. But by the time night falls, Joey is really tired, so Marco decides to stop and stay inside a cave with her. Once inside, he also sets up some landmine traps outside the cave, so if Radam and his buddies try to come there, they'll die in the explosion, or the blast will let Marco know about them in time. Then, before going to sleep, Joey asks Marco a lot of questions. She wants to know why Marco came there. Marco starts telling her how he and his team were given the mission to save Volter and his family, and we were flying peacefully in a chopper to get to them. But suddenly, a bazooka hit our chopper and it crashed. I only survived because I luckily jumped out of the chopper in time. Joey then calls Marco a fallen angel who came to help her, but Marco doesn't think he's an angel. Then Joey asks Marco to tell her a superhero story. So Marco tells her a story about his friend, Aziz. Aziz was a Muslim soldier, and Marco had never seen anyone as brave as him. Aziz once blew up a whole town of enemies from inside a truck. He also saved Marco's life, but Aziz didn't survive that fight. Marco says he was his superhero, and he's really grateful to Aziz. Anyway, the next morning, as Marco and Joey come out of the cave, a terrorist shows up right there. The next moment Marco sees him, he throws a knife at his face and then stabs him many times to finish him off. Joey gets a little scared by this because she starts having visions of her family's death. But Marco calms her down somehow and takes Joey away from there before any other terrorists show up. He brings Joey to another nearby cliff. And a little while later, some more terrorists reach the cave. They get really scared when they see their buddy's dead body there. And then one of them gets caught in the landmine trap and dies right away. Meanwhile, when Marco is washing his hands near a river, he notices Joey trying to throw a knife at Marco. At first, Marco stops her, but since the situation is really tense right now, and anything could happen at any moment, Marco sees Joey's determination and starts teaching her how to throw a knife. In a little while, Joey learns to throw a fake knife easily, so Marco then gives her a real knife and tells her to throw it. Joey hits a perfect target on her very first try. After this, Marco takes her and starts moving forward again. Meanwhile, Radam's buddies are still spread out all over the jungle and are constantly trying to find Marco and Joey. But Marco and Joey keep moving forward carefully while taking breaks. Joey has a dog doll named Lewis that her mom gave her, promising to buy her a real Lewis when they go to America. Joey is missing her mom a lot right now, and she gets really upset about their death. Marco then explains to her that everyone has to die one day, Joey calms down a little after hearing this. Marco promises her that he will get Joey out of this place alive, no matter what. Meanwhile, Radam and his buddies are almost reaching Marco now. A little later, Marco is looking at the terrorists through his binoculars. Then Joey accidentally makes a little noise, and Radam himself shows up in front of them with a gun. Right now, Joey and Marco don't know that this is Radam, the leader of the terrorist group. But even so, Marco immediately points his gun at him when he sees him. Radam acts like he's just a normal civilian passing through the area. He also lies that he's only carrying a gun because there are a lot of terrorists in the area. Marco doesn't want to trust him, but he does. Radam then tries to trick them by offering to take them to his house so Joey and Marco can eat something. At first, Marco doesn't agree to this, but because Joey hasn't eaten anything since the day before, Marco agrees to go to Radam's house with him for her sake. Then Castle contacts Marco and tells him the location where their evacuation team will be arriving. Castle tells Marco to get there on time. Marco agrees to this too, but since the team is still a long way off, Marco first takes Joey with Radam toward his house. Right now, Marco has no idea that he's walking right into trouble, and a lot of terrorists have already surrounded them. Now, as soon as the terrorists try to attack him, Marco immediately takes position and starts killing them one by one. Radam is also watching him do this. He kidnaps Joey right then and takes her away from there. And as soon as Marco finds out that Radam himself is the leader of that terrorist group, he gets really angry. But since Radam had told him that his village was nearby, Marco starts looking for his village. He soon finds Radam's village and reaches the entrance. There, after killing the village guard, he puts on his clothes and goes inside. He points a gun at another terrorist inside and starts asking about Joey. That guy is then forced to take Marco toward Radam's base. On the way, a lot of Radam's buddies try to attack Marco. But being in the special forces means Marco is trained on a whole other level. He kills a lot of terrorists very easily. But despite this, he remains completely calm. But he just reaches the main bases outside when he starts fighting Radam's best man, Tarat. Tarat has the advantage because Marco is tired, and he beats Marco up badly. He is about to kill Marco right then, but Radam comes there and stops him. Radam takes Marco to a room with him and tortures him badly, trying to find out the location where his other buddies are coming to. But Marco doesn't tell him anything. Radam really hates Americans, because American soldiers once attacked his village and killed a lot of terrorists, including Radam's parents. He is still torturing Marco, but Marco, in return, threatens Radam that Radam won't be able to leave Afghanistan alive now. And in the next room, Radam has put Joey in a cage. One of Radam's buddies is watching her. He looks at Joey in a creepy way and starts moving toward her. Joey gets scared and starts crying loudly. This distracts Radam in the other room, and as soon as Marco gets a chance, he snatches a gun from a guy and immediately runs out of the room. He immediately kills all the other terrorists too, and grabs a lot of bullets for himself, because he knows he's in enemy territory right now, and he could be attacked from anywhere at any time. He keeps killing more terrorists and somehow gets to Joey's room. Joey is really happy to see Marco in this situation, and Papa is the only thing that comes out of her mouth for Marco. Hearing that, a lot of emotions rush through Marco all at once. He slowly moves toward Joey, but then Radam comes from behind and stabs Marco. But even though Marco is hurt, he pulls out his pistol and shoots Radam in the neck. Radam dies right there. But this makes all the other terrorists really angry, and as Marco tries to leave with Joey, they try to attack him many times. But Marco really leaves a lot of dead bodies there. Based on his experience, he knows that in situations like this, he can only survive by fighting. So, he fights while taking Joey and somehow gets out of the village. But as soon as he gets out, he runs out of bullets completely, and Marco has no other choice but to run. So he quickly picks Joey up in his arms and keeps running up the cliff, even though he's hurt, because the evacuation team will be arriving there soon. Joey also wants to save Marco's life, so she keeps cheering him on, and Marco puts everything he has into reaching the top. But then a time comes when Marco can't run anymore, and he sits down in the middle, exhausted. Joey also understands his condition, so she takes a knife from Marco and sits down, aiming at the remaining terrorists. And right now the terrorists are slowly approaching the two of them. And seeing Marco in this state, the terrorist commander thinks they'll definitely win now. They are about to shoot Joey, but Marco fully covers her to save Joey's life, because he promised Joey he wouldn't let her die in this jungle. And before that commander can fire a shot, a bullet hits him in the eye, and he dies right away. This is actually the work of the evacuation team that arrived at the perfect time to save Marco and Joey. And now they kill all those terrorists one by one. And now Joey and Marco are safely rescued and sent back to the city. With this, the story jumps a few months ahead to where Marco has quit his job because he wants to live a normal life with Joey. He adopted Joey so he could give her family love. Although he knows he can't give Joey the same life she had with her old family, he's ready to do anything for Joey. And right now, he brings a dog for Joey, which he names Lewis. Joey is really happy playing with him. And with this, the story ends here too. So friends, let us know what you thought of this story in the comments. Also like the video and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.